What's up, guys? It's Jill. It is Monday, September 1st. It is officially Virgo season. It is Labor Day, so I hope that you're enjoying your day off. Be sure to thank your fellow union members. Unions. One of those public norms that we finally caught on and upheld, right? Thank God. I've been thinking a lot about those things lately, like the reconciliation, right, of the things that we do and the things that seem to be to our benefit. And this year I've been having a really hard time because it seems that more and more everywhere I look in this little town I live in, there's Narcan, there's Narcan, there's Narcan, and now there's Narcan in backpacks, and I'm like, ah! Why would we normalize this behavior? A four-year-old in Syracuse just died by overdose. And we hand out Narcan in backpacks. There's a lot to be said for enabling people. Okay, because, making a choice, and addiction is a choice, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Making the choice to keep those things in your home and to do those things, especially when you have children, is completely irresponsible. But we sustain those addictions by handing out this free Narcan and the free Narcan and the free Narcan. Where's the incentive to go get help? When they can be Narcaned and then put back on the street 20 minutes later and 2 hours later be Narcaned again, where's the incentive to get help? Friday morning, I was awakened at about 5:30 in the morning by, I don't know, the channeling of Benjamin Rush. And it caught me off guard. And in case you don't know, Benjamin Rush was a founding father. Actually, he signed the Declaration of Independence. And he said, over 200 years ago, he said, addiction is a disease, but not so much a disease because it's, what is the word I'm looking for? Compulsive. But because it just destroys us, right? Like, he knew that alcohol was going to diminish cognitive function, that it was going to take away memory, that it limited our physical capacity. And so, the thing with addiction to alcohol and the thing with addiction to heroin is that we choose it. And you can't tell me that we don't. You can't go, well, it's a disease. Well, it's not a disease until you make it a disease, okay? Just like type 2 diabetes is not a disease until we create it as such. So the compulsion of, I want to drink this, or I'm going to do this, starts with a choice every time. So you go out drinking with your friends, there are always warning signs. You eat too much sugar, you get a bellyache. You drink too much alcohol, you end up hugging the toilet, right? And so to continuously do that until your body cannot sustain without that chemical is wild, you guys. It's wild. And we don't teach mental resilience at school. And we certainly don't really teach it in society. It's more like almost become like a survival instinct, like we have to fight for it, which is crazy to me. Because that's how people get sober, right? We go, oh, we do recover. Well, yeah, because you train your brain to live around the addiction that you created. So it's mental resilience. And then the one thing that scares me about where we're headed with this Narcan is that it only takes a short time for things to normalize. So, and we do it repeatedly, but the other day I was reminded that Dr. T. Barry Brazelton, now he was, you guys know I'm a doula, so you gotta just appreciate etymology and where things come from. He was an amazing mind, and he wrote a lot about neonatal development and infant behaviors. And I don't mean a lot, I mean, like, he published over 200 papers. He wrote something like 24 books. But when Pampers and Huggies first came on the scene, they paid Dr. Brazelton to write a study proving that we should delay potty training. Now, this is against Mother Nature. It's against thousands of years of just truth, okay? But once he claimed that there was a scientific reason for doing this, all of a sudden, we started pushing back potty training. Now, my daughter was fully potty trained by 18 months because I would put her on the potty. I would allow her to go into the bathroom with us and watch us go to the bathroom. Some people start potty training as early as like 9 months because it's just a normal thing to do. You know, we don't shit all over the place, right? So when Pampers and Huggies decided that there was a lot of money to be made in keeping kids in diapers, they just smeared the news with this fancy name and said, hey, this guy says we're going to do this. And within a decade or two, we have almost doubled the age for potty training. Doubled, friends. We're talking 3 or more years old for kids to be fully potty trained. There's no reason for this. No reason. Now, I didn't go to the fair this year. That's a lot of people, and it's a lot of hiking from the parking lot and moving around, and I used to love things like that, but just, it's become so commercialized, right? And just so, I don't know, meh, I guess, over the past few years. But one thing that I heard on repeat this year, and I saw it all across social media, was that really it's just become weed sales and beer sales, right? And that there's liquor everywhere. A couple weeks ago, a local paper ran a story, and they were like, fun, safe space, open now. And I was like, oh, fun, safe space. That's what I call my space, that I work with teenagers. And they were like, it's a bar. Oh, and there's a distillery 2 doors down. So now, from one end of our city to the other, on the same street, there's bars, there's bars, there's bars. There's a reason they call it Prison City, I guess. Because there's just bars everywhere. And if we don't want to normalize alcoholism, why have we normalized the drinking so much? And I say this all the time, that all we do is dump our kids out and pick them back up at 21 when they're old enough to drink. So if we're going to keep handing out Narcan on the corners, we're just normalizing the behavior of the heroin addiction. And how normal is it for that to follow right behind the alcoholism? Do we want a nation of addicts? Because whatever agenda we allow them to run with, whatever narrative we keep feeding, is what will become our lived reality. And we're watching this play out again right now with ICE. We are in very, very interesting times, friends. And as it becomes a little more chaotic, a lot of people are going to start reaching for a lot more vices. So I'm going to scream it one more time. Check yourself. Check your addictions. Check the things that you are doing, that you are ingesting. Are they good for you? And if they're not, you have the option to make a better choice. You always have the option to make a better choice. There are resources available to you. Narcan and backpacks, guys. Got me shook. Not the society I want to raise my kids in. Not the mentality I want for my kids. And this addiction is a disease mentality is just not healthy for us. It's not healthy for us as a society. It is a compulsive behavior, but it is bred through our own actions, and it is always a choice. Teach kids that. They always have a choice. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.